On a podcast with Kevin Hart. So he was giving shit to Kevin. He's like, you know why you work so goddamn hard? And Kevin's like, always, he's like, why is that? And he's like, you're running away from your demons, man. You don't want to, as long as you keep running far enough, they can't catch up. And, he's doing it in a joking way, but he's dead set. And he's like, well, he was saying that during his COVID-19 time, he's like, oh, he thought he went through it. He got past all of his problems. But he's like, oh shit, man, I'm not watching TV, like all these things. And he's like, my demons are there. And so he's like breaking down. And he's like, oh, so maybe when I work so damn hard, I'm also unconsciously, it's in a good way, right? Some people do it in a bad way, they go to drugs, but he's also running away from his mind to not let him bury in his psychological problems or whatever he may have.
Can't walk properly.
No, I can't connect to my legs. Like I couldn't, like the way I'm walking, I'm like, I feel like I'm not really here. It's like a kid. I don't know, it's weird.
Like what? You feel like your body is just moving and your brain...
So it's moving, but it's not coordinated. Like I was not firing the muscles properly. Like one leg goes, I'm almost like wobbly.
Fucking hell, you're fucked up.
And that's how I feel now. I feel a little bit loose. Like imagine there's a socket and there's a little bit left, so it's not properly plugged in. That's what it feels like.
You should do some drugs.
It's probably gonna make it worse. Is this how we're gonna start it off?
I don't know.
Is this how we're gonna start off the podcast? Alright, this is how we're gonna start it off. Growth talks.
Yes.
So
It's that time of the week where we sit down for our mental therapy.
we get legit. Oh, this is gonna vibrate. I think it may have made some bad noises.
You fucked up.
I'm sorry.
So we are talking about growth talks again this week.
I think this is number 4 or 5. One of them. 4.
Some number.
It's a sum.
Some.
A number is a sum.
Where we talk about how did our week or what did we learn? Did we learn something new about ourselves or a new skill?
I'm always learning.
Low.
But like, it's always the same stuff. Low. What'd you, what's been happening this week? What have you been doing? Let's start off like that.
Well, it was slow week.
Mm-hmm.
Easter weekend
Ooh,
came back.
Easter weekend.
Went camping on Easter weekend.
How was
It
that?
was pretty nice.
Did you have some insights? Did you realize that?
No, whenever you go
things-
camping, I always feel the same thing. You look at the sky and you feel like it's just too minute. Why are you worrying about money and job and
That's an
business
insight.
and everything?
Yeah, that is an insight, man.
Yeah, but the same insight. I'll always have it when I go to camp. It's not something new. And
Okay.
it stays with you all the time.
Hold on. Correct. But is there a realization there?
Well, you have the realization. You live with the realization that you are nothing in this whole universe. But whatever you are, you still have to be something with that nothing.
I know. I'm just gonna keep digging again, though, right? I'm not gonna let this go, homeboy. Maybe. Is there a lesson in there? Like, it's for me, because I do the same thing. Where, like, I'll go out and I get that, and I'm like, do I need to remind myself of this more often? Because I can't just go camping all the time.
I think we are at a good line because if we remind ourselves too often that whatever we do is meaningless, you end up doing meaningless tasks. You end up doing nothing. And everyone will be gone and forgotten, but you can at least do something to make other people life better. There's a line where I don't want to cross, where I think like whatever I do is nothingness. I don't want to be a hippie, not contributing to my family, friends, community, and like other
Right.
people. So I don't want to go on that side. So where I am is maybe a bit too hardcore on doing stuff. I can maybe push back a little, but I don't want to. I consciously
I get
don't
it.
want to push too much on that side. I know the reality is not that great, and like I'm not gonna be written in the stars, but
Okay.
whatever you do still has impact around people around you, and whoever we impact, they will be nothing too.
I like
but
this.
still,
This
we
is
have
a
to
real
impact
therapy
them.
session. Son, you're sitting down physically, but I need you to mentally sit down. Are you ready for this? I felt that. Okay. I like where this is going. So, I heard this on a podcast. You know Bill Burr, right?
Yeah.
He's given shit, but lately because of the whole COVID-19 thing, he's gone through. So when he's a comedian, for those who don't know, that he's fantastic. Like I don't really like much comedians, but he's one of those guys where
He's amazing.
hey,
He's amazing.
I like it because he's so real. He doesn't just come up with shit. He talks about real shit, and it's funny because he talks about it in a funny way.
One of the things that always stays with me about him is he did a show in I think Pennsylvania, and people were crowd was booing him, and he roasted everyone in the crowd, and then by the end everyone was cheering on him because like they wanted to boo him but they couldn't because he was so good at it.
If anyone is listening to this right now, you want to check that out. This crowd was known for being one of the worst crowds ever. And every single person that got on the stage, not because they were bad, but the crowd almost united together to try and boo everyone off the stage. So Bill Burr got up there and said, you know what? I'm not taking this shit. And I think it was like almost an hour.
He ranted for like
the entire hour. He was not
I don't know if
there
it
to
was an
joke.
hour, but it was a long time, yeah.
Dude.
Without a joke, just ranting and fucking.
By the end of
annihilating
it, though, do you know there was people laughing and started to turn to his side? You
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah. So yeah.
You got to get onto it. But so this guy is a real raw guy. That's the point. And that was a great way to bring it up. But on a podcast with Kevin Hart, so he was giving shit to Kevin. He's like, you know why you work so goddamn hard? And Kevin's like, always he's like, why is that? And he's like, you're running away from your demons, man. You don't want to, as long as you keep running far enough, they can't catch up. And, he's doing it in a joking way, but he's dead set. And he's like, well, he was saying that during his COVID-19 time, he's realized, he's like, oh, he thought he went through it. He got past all of his problems. But he's like, oh shit, man, I'm not watching TV, like all these things. And he's like, my demons are there. And so he's like breaking down. And he's like, oh, so maybe when I work so damn hard, I'm also unconsciously, it's in a good way, right? Some people do it in a bad way, they go to drugs, but he's also running away from his mind to not let him bury in his psychological problems or whatever he may have.
Yeah.
And I started realizing as well myself, actually something came out of this. I started realizing myself this week, I'm like, okay. And we spoke about it a little bit before, but we said that we're constantly listening to something. We're constantly learning. And sometimes that could be a bad thing because we don't retain memory,
Not soaking anything.
Yeah, but here's another thing that I realized. When I'm constantly listening to something, I've gone to a place where I actually struggle to be in silence. So maybe I'm in a good way, but it's still destructive. I'm not allowing my mind to speak because some shit is in there that's I don't want to listen to. And
Deep.
we gotta we might just need to listen to our minds more often. The little demon of our old young self screaming.
Don't do psychedelics if you're in that mind. You would see some weird stuff.
Do you know what's funny? I've never done them, but listening to a podcast, I'm like, a lot of people get through a trip where they get to
Fucking Joe Rogan making everyone a psychedelic drug person.
Joe, I know you're listening to the podcast.
I know you are.
I know you are. We all know.
It fucking you listen to everything.
I know you're waiting for every single episode that comes out, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's true. It's kind of like the same thing, like if you don't have a goal, you're aimless.
Yeah.
And if you're aimless, you have too much silence, and too much silence, we can think about actual bigger pictures, and the bigger picture is actually not pretty. Like actually what happened to the world in the last 1 year actually showed, I don't want to go into politics and stuff, but actually showed like how weak countries are and how the world collectively cannot actually stand on their feet to actually get to a root of a problem because everyone is so deep rooted into their own interests and they're also weak.
Yeah.
And we've reached a point that a few countries can do what they want and like they've just become authorities, and just the more you go in silence, you realize that this is all just bullshit.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And
you start to realize.
it's not a great place to be for a long time. Then it makes you feel like doing nothing.
Yeah.
But it is true. But at the same time, if you do more stuff, you can get more stuff. You can be a bit more top of the food chain.
For sure.
You're very bottom of the food chain. With that mindset, you're gonna stay at the bottom of the food chain. But if you're at the top of the food chain, you can rise above a few things.
And I think, like, that is exactly right, though. Like, with everything, and I've learned that, especially coming into, like, it comes into every single journey, but I learned it from my health journey that balance is the key. Like, we did the carnivore diet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, we did it just to see what it's like. We didn't want to do it because, hey, the life is you have to eat that way. But I
I'll
think,
do it once a year.
yeah, like, it's a good reset, right? But
Yeah.
we know that balance is the key.
Balance
Like,
is the
hey, man, I need to get my broccoli, and I need to get my vegetables, I need to get my protein, my
My
carbs,
beer.
my fat, my beer, my psychedelics, Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get a little bit of everything, man. Like my here and there.
We don't do any, by the way.
We don't.
Your dad's listening.
I know, but you got to make it a bit fun, right? Dad, we love you. No, but I think, like, I'm learning. Hey, hold on, just even with this, maybe I need to purposely shut off the devices and not learn, but not just because I'm cramming my mind, because I actually need to be with my mind. Because what if I'm losing touch with myself? I think I am, and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
But it's just about, okay, maybe a walk every day without listening. Maybe 30 minutes practicing somewhere with just my mind and seeing what comes up.
Yeah.
Because I heard something really good in a podcast again the other day. It's always a podcast. Understanding where you have... It's always important to understand what gives you pain or what makes you feel uncomfortable. And when you can... So being alone, obviously, that's why people don't like it, because they think of thoughts uncomfortable. I like it too. But, like, thinking of thoughts that make you uncomfortable or bring up pain shows you a point that where you have to work on. Mm-hmm. So I think it's always a good practice to say, hey, man, okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm guilty of, not spending time with my brain too much. Because I'm always I'm doing something, or I'm listening to something, or if I'm always on something. So that's one thing I've still been saying, but I still have to practice. And I'm super guilty of it, but I'm going to try again. And yeah, I think I have lost some touch of my own reality, in the sense I still think in 2 weeks I can look like a physique god. But my body has changed. I've aged. I'm not that 21-year-old Sunny anymore. I don't have that muscle quality and stuff. But at that point, I was like, if I could be looking big, fat, and in 2 weeks I can, like, shred like a motherfucker and look good. And now I'm still like, oh, I'm still that guy. But I am that guy inside, but not everywhere.
It's true. Not everywhere?
Not everywhere. So yeah, that's
Just
true.
some places.
Some places.
No, I think, it's a funny running joke for those that know with Sonny. The man used to be an absolute legend when it came to the physiques. He was on stage, he was competing, and so he always had this thing where back in the days, if he was putting on a bit of weight, in 2 weeks he'd shred up and become a monster. And so now he's always constantly, we look at him and go, come on, man, what's happening? We tickle his body fat a little bit for fun, and then he goes, give me
Body
2 weeks.
shaming.
Yeah, we body shaming. It's good. I'm going to openly say body shaming is okay. So yeah, that's aging sucks, man. I was in the gym the other day and I'm looking and I'm like, why am I? Because a friend said it to me a few years back. He turned 27 and I'm 27 now, and he goes, bro, he was a weightlifting champion. He's like, bro, things start to slow down, man. This shit sucks. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, thinking in my head,
Not gonna happen to me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always like, no, I'm not gonna be the one.
Because I'm a smart dickhead. You know what I mean? And it's not going to happen to me because I'm not like you. It's just, I'm not you.
We just
always
don't
say.
think that much, because we just don't think we're gonna get to that age.
Exactly. That's why I said smart dickhead on purpose, because you're this young kid that knows everything. And now I'm 27 and I'm like, oh, it has slowed down.
But in saying that, it's still like people are older than us, stronger than us. So
Oh, hell yeah. You can still do it.
Focus it, and if you it's about like how much effort you have to put. So now if I have to bench press 110 lb on both arms, I have to be doing more effort on my training and more focus.
Yeah.
But before I could do it more easily. So it's the difference in how much effort I have to put into that. You can still do it. Like, don't get me wrong. There are people in their 50s who are stronger than me.
No, that's right.
So
I was just thinking about it as well, though. Like, I'm just like, and it's a stage of like just understanding this so that you don't get into a regret. I'm like, I was looking at this guy in front of me bench pressing. He was about 40. And I'm like, man, I'm just so proud of you. I actually said to the guy, like, because he was just pushing himself. I didn't care what weight he was pushing. It was not that much.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, I'm freaking proud of you. And so he got up and I'm like, dude, you're doing a good job. And I actually said it and I'm like, well done. He's like, his defense mechanism kicked in. He's like, oh, I'm weak as piss. And I'm like, dude, for what you're doing, you're pushing yourself. Not many people push themselves to what their limit is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I left him on a good note. But I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, man. What about, like, I want to help my dad. I'm like, I want to get my dad. I remember when I was training.
Oh, I want to get my dad, like, ribbed and stuff.
You know, all this stuff.
And he says I'm too old. I'm like, no, I'm going to get you abs and take you to the beach.
That's the thing, though. I was thinking the same thing. And I'm like, damn, they have to work so much harder. It can still be done, like you said. It's not to say, hey, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, I'm like, while I'm where I am now, take opportunity. Because when I get to 40, when I get to 50, 60, yes, I can still do it. But instead of being able to slack off on these areas of nutrition and training, not work as hard, I'm going to have to be super focused.
Yeah.
So now while I have the opportunity, because now at 27, it's still easier than at 40.
Yeah.
Whereas, 27 is harder than 25 or 23. So I'm like, okay, take opportunity of my time now. Because my time now is the best time. As they say, the best time is yesterday. But the second best time is today or now, But I just thought that was a funny realization to bring in, Yeah. So, what's the plan for the week, man? I know we went deep there and your mind's already like buggling you. I can see it. I can feel it. You're zoning out. You're
Just
like,
thinking I'm old.
where am I going to spend time? What am I going to do? I need to train. I need to eat well. I need to be a successful millionaire. I need to run 17 businesses by the time I'm 29.
Still have
I
a
need
job.
to-
For my visa, I need a job.
get my visa. I need to create a new color.
A new smell.
I need to what? A new smell. Yeah, no, that's right. And we need to hybridize two new animals together so that we can create a new species.
Yeah, a lot of things to do.
Ultimately, we need to create a new religion. I don't know how we're going to do it by 29.
Religion. Motivationology.
We need to
Like
create
Scientology. Motivology.
Motivology. That's our new YouTube. We need to have 7 kids by then. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Stop it, Jeremy.
All right, I'm sorry. That was a big tangent. What's the goal for the week coming up? Is there something new you're learning, or is it the same thing, or is there something different that's been happening? Hey, you got a new job.
Yeah, I haven't signed the contract yet, but I got promoted 2 levels technically.
Yeah, boy,
And
fist bump.
it's technically every level has 5 branches, so
Yeah.
it's 10 levels if you think about that.
Nice.
Every level has
Yeah, I
5
got
branches.
it.
So,
That's freaking awesome, man.
yeah. So I haven't signed the contract yet, so don't publish it before I sign the contract.
It's published. Nah, you're gonna be getting paid to do something you love.
Oh, yes.
But most importantly as well is not only do you love it, you're getting paid to learn something that you're going to use on your outside hustle.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something
Freaking
like,
awesome.
it's a role which is not capitalizing on things, it's actually to help people. So
Yeah, I love that.
in the tech environment, so it's combined best of the both worlds. Like, I love tech and the technology, and I love how I can help people, and it's the best of both, and it'll help in my visa. So
Dude, everything about
Ping,
it.
ping, ping.
I'm very proud of you,
I
man.
haven't signed it yet, so don't.
Shut up.
Let me sign it first.
I'm telling the universe what's happening.
All right, but yeah, so that'll be next week, and then I'm learning this another new Google course on UX design. They've got a new course come out, just upscale. Basically, they're saying the same things, but it's good to still brush up your sword.
Yep.
So doing that on the side.
Brush up your sword so you can...
Megan is doing it too. So she's learning some these stuff. So
Nice.
we're getting a lot of clients for the UX design, and she can do this work herself, and she knows all this stuff. So
Nice.
that'd be good for expansion of our own small business of this side.
Hell yeah.
The other business, which I'm not naming, will be live. It is already live. We're doing testing.
Yep.
So There's few bugs and stuff which keep coming out. I have to fix those.
How long do you reckon it'll be live in completely?
It's live. I'm just getting few more
Published,
content.
I should say.
People are signing up already,
Nice.
but I'm still fixing few things on it. But I'm doing it so it doesn't stop publishing. So I'm fixing in a different environment
Nice.
and then putting
Nice.
it in the front.
Solid.
Yeah, so that's that. And what else? That's all. That's too much.
That's too much.
What about you?
What am I learning this week? This week I'm going into, I don't know why, so I'm always having like these trends. Like I get really deep on the topic.
Yeah.
And then when I feel like I've overloaded my brain on it, I keep switching. So last week I went huge on health. This week I'm like, I just need to get back on some mindset stuff. So I'm going back on some psychology stuff, which is why we brought up this psychology
What
stuff.
are you reading on psychology stuff? Because I'm going to read a book. Because who I'm working with, they're all psychologists. I'm going to ask them to tell me if I could read one book,
Right.
which you can suggest me. Which one would that be? That'll be my next book.
I would suggest, so I'm not reading it, I'm listening to everything about him. And honestly, I want to read it, but I'm going to give myself too many goals because I've got all these books already. But it's going to be in my list for sure. Peter Crone,
Yeah.
you know who he is already.
Yeah.
He's got a book out where basically in the book he goes into detail about understanding when you do certain things, what they really mean. And so you can start. I think that it's more important and more powerful to understand yourself first so that you can understand others.
True.
So I think that this would probably be, without even reading it already and knowing who he is, I feel like this would probably be the most, or any book he has would be one of the most powerful books. But
Is it on audiobook?
that's that's my trick now. I'm gonna look for an audible so I can get it.
That's
But
what I'm going to do too.
yeah, so all right, we'll do it
That's
together.
my plan is to get all these books who are understanding books. I'll get an audible and listen on speed 2 or 1.5.
Yeah,
But all those books which I need to see visually, like there's few books
some.
which you have to see like that Joe Navarro's what everybody's saying. So you have to see the postures and body movement. There's another book that talks about problem solving in which it shows you some examples, which I'm gonna get.
makes
So
sense.
those books I'm gonna get actual hard copy so I can look, or which I have to just listen. I'll just get books like this.
I agree. And then you can the good thing is you can just listen to them twice. So because that's when it sinks in more, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
today, I realized I was listening to one I already listened to, and I'm like, oh, I didn't pick up on something before that was powerful.
Oh yeah, that happens.
And so I'm like, okay, this is really ingrained in my mind now.
I read Rich Man in Babylon. I'm gonna do it again.
Nice.
It's a pretty good book. It's old as hell. Where it's based on like what ages, like pre-technology, pre-whatever, like that. I think it's when
Pre-Forex ages.
like Babylon was, I think, where was it? I think it was near Israel area, where it was called something else. Don't quote me on this, but it's pretty old. But what he says in that book is like you'll when you listen to this book, you'll see like how money works hasn't changed in all these years.
Value.
How you grow money hasn't
How you
changed.
grow, okay.
Yeah, how you actually become rich hasn't changed in all these years.
Makes sense.
All those concepts in that book. At that point, he's talking about investing. Like he's investing at that point was giving money to this shepherd so he can go and get more wool, and then he can go in some other town and he can sell it
always
for
the
more
same.
expensive.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't even ship in that time. So like it's like even at that time, investment and investing in the right people and lending was a big thing, and that's how people used to get rich. And in this book, there's this guy who has so much money, and he doesn't give that money to his kids because they were useless. He gives it to someone else who knows how to handle the money, and then he just make him the custodian of the money. So you give kids what they want, but you're the
Makes
custodian
sense.
because you're gonna make this much money grow
You
more.
know that that guy's okay. I like that.
Pretty good, yeah. That's you can listen to that book when you're working. Nice story.
See, let's get back to I need space.
Oh yeah, don't. Silence. I'm gonna practice silence too. Yeah.
All right, done. That was a good therapy session. I feel light, bubbly, and
Remember that meme on?
say it.
It's like there was a meme on Instagram. Why do men start podcasts when all they need is a therapy session? And then this dude comments like, why do women start OnlyFans when all they need is a job?
Oh, bro, we can't put that up.
We can put
Yes,
that
we
up
can.
easily.
That was funny though. That was a good comment. All right, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we gonna say goodbye. Peace out. Ciao for now. And not forever.